What's up YouTube? I'm back with another YouTube video, and today we're going to be talking about deep dives from Season of the Deep, which is the current Destiny 2 season right now. This caught my attention because I saw Fallout Play's latest video covering this. In the video, he basically talked about how you can find these Tolan slash Taken orbs, which will allow you to invoke darkness, which is what it says in game. And now an important thing to note is that you can't start this by yourself. You need all three players to invoke darkness to start this process if you're playing in a group. That means everyone has to interact with the orb. The problem with this is while the game doesn't make that big of a mention of it, it only mentions it once, and that's it. So I had no idea this was in the game, to be honest, and it gives you a chance at better loot and more sonar reputation for the seasonal vendor once you complete the activity. You can find the piece of information by hovering over the deep dive rules modifier before queuing into a deep dive. And here's an image on screen. You can see I highlighted it and everything. But again, I had no idea this was in the game. If it wasn't for the Fallout Plays video, I'm not sure if I would have even known about this. So again, just making this video to help put it out there as well. And again, credit to Fallout in every single way because he really uh, helped put this on my radar. So as you can see, if you hover over when you're in orbit, the deep dive rules at the bottom when it comes to rewards, it says victory at each depth increases the rewards and challenges of the next. Opt in with your entire fire team to trigger pressure trials versions of activities for even greater rewards. That's the most the game says about it. Once you're in game, the deep dive rules don't pop up again. Even if you take out your ghost and you look over to the right, the modifiers are the only thing that shows up, and there's not even like anything at all to note looking at the pressure trials. So keep that in mind. The only way to really look at it and to get a grasp of what that there's even something secret here, it's very minimal and easy to miss. I'm gonna be honest with you, when I play the new activity, I never read the rules or whatever. I just learn off of playing it, so I never knew this was a thing, like I said, until now. So what I want to make note of is completing the two main objectives along with the two darkness orb objectives, and defeating the final boss will give you a tier 5 reward at the end. So that's necessarily why you want to be doing this, because like I mentioned earlier, you get extra sonar reputation for the seasonal vendor, but you also have a better chance at getting red border weapons. You just have a better chance at getting better loot anyway, and that's always a good thing to have. But let's talk about how these taken orbs work. So once you invoke darkness, you have to complete an additional mini game slash objective along with the default one the game gives you. So you're essentially doing two objectives instead of just one. There are two that I've seen so far. One requires you to stand on pressurized blights on the ground, and I'll be showing some gameplay of that in the background right now. And the second one, which I've seen, is just shooting Taken Blights, similar to the Taken Blight public event if you've done that before. I'll let the gameplay continue here so you can see both and how both of them work. I haven't seen one yet myself, and in Fallout's video, he did include kind of a little bit of gameplay and stuff like that, but I'm not gonna just rip a clip from his video and stuff. So I just took a screenshot, and again, credit to Fallout, but there is one with floating taken orbs that you have to shoot. So I pretty much just kind of put some pictures together real quick to show you. One is for the pressurized blights, one is for the taken blights, and then one is for the floating taken blights. So keep all of that in mind. To my knowledge, at least these are the three that you have a chance of seeing. But that's gonna do it for identifying which event slash objective slash mini game you have. So after watching Fallout's video, I immediately went to try this myself in a match-made game, and here's how it went. So yeah, that was rough to watch, but it also seems like the invoke darkness orbs slash taken orbs are timed, so if your team isn't fast enough to find it and interact with it, you can miss out on getting these extra tiers. I also want to mention that you can get 2 chances at these orbs. The first one will spawn in a random location at the first encounter, which is located 1,000 meters in the deep dive, and the second one will spawn at a random location at 2,750 meters at the second encounter in the deep dive. So here's a clear breakdown of the activity. Start the activity like normal and work your way to the first encounter when you reach 1,000 meters in the Methane Sea. Here is the first time you'll be prompted to plant the Egregore Resonator. Once you deploy the Resonator, run around and look for the taken orb. Again, it's a white glowing orb, and try to find it as fast as possible and invoke darkness as fast as possible. You have to complete 2 objectives all under the time limit. Once all 3 players interact with the orb on your screen, you will see the text that says, "The darkness awaits your invocation." Once you see that text, that means the additional objective slash minigame is active. Complete both before time expires and move on until you reach 2,750 meters in the Methane Sea. So remember, when you go to do this, as soon as you plant the Resonator, your main objective is going to start. For example, it might be defend generators, it might be kill enemies, or it might be defeat enemies, and then they'll drop you wrenches and stuff and you have to go fix something. Ignore that for the time being. Obviously, if it's taking damage, if you're on a timer, but ignore it and look for your white glowing orb. That way you can work on both at the same time. But just keep that in mind. You're going to have 2 things to do at the same time. And for some players, they can easily manage that. And for some, it's better just to know right now that you're going to be doing a lot during this time. Once you reach 2,750 meters in the Methane Sea, deploy your Resonator again and look for your glowing taken orb. Make sure to do it as fast as possible and have 3 players interact with it. Once you see the text on your screen again saying that darkness awaits your invocation, complete the additional objective slash minigame and your main objective before time expires. Now all you gotta do is finish the rest of the deep dive, which is going to the boss fight, and once you complete it, you should have a tier 5 reward chest waiting for you. Now the best way to do this right now is for LFG or just getting a team together in general, and that's just my opinion because as you can see in the clip from earlier, I tried doing this in a match-made game and it just isn't that well known right now. So if you want, go ahead and take your risk when it comes to a match-made game. You can always go to like team chat, whatever, or the local chat, and try to have people pay attention to that. But in most cases, it just doesn't work, or they just ignore it. So your best bet is to just do an LFG post. I did mine on Bungie.net, and I just did like an LFG saying tier 5, invoke darkness or something like that, and people joined and they knew what to do. But again, the difficulty and stuff like that, it's gonna range from player to player. I didn't get it done because people kept leaving and stuff like that, so it is what it is. Now that we went through all of that, one thing I want to do is recommend one way Bungie can address this so majority of players know there's a secret, kinda. And here's an image I put together really quickly, and you can see that all I did was add an icon and text, so when you take out your ghost, I thought to do it like this because you tell people how to do it without directly telling them how to do it, if that makes sense. But I feel like if Bungie wants to keep this a secret, this doesn't ruin it, so when you take out your ghost, it tells you, hey, there's something secret here, but we aren't going to tell you how to get it. And I feel like that's fine because at least you can have some type of text that will lead players if they want to know how to do it. They can just go to Google or they can go to YouTube and just look it up real quick and see the right way to do it. But again, it's more or less just a Bungie, I think, being difficult when it comes to something that shouldn't be that difficult, in terms of they're making it more difficult for themselves is what I mean. So it's infuriating to me because we've seen this several times before in the past, and I'm just gonna say, like, Bungie doesn't really have a good track record when it comes to stuff like this. If you remember Season of Plunder, which again is one of the worst like rated player seasons in Destiny 2, Season of Plunder was in my opinion, really bad. But then when you had us playing Expeditions and we had to defeat Ruffians, there was no text and no anything to let other players know, hey, maybe you should wait so other people can get Ruffians. Because, you know, if I'm trying to get Ruffians but the two other players don't even know they exist in the game or how to get them, it makes playing the game a whole lot difficult because now I gotta go to an LFG. Now I gotta go get a group. And sometimes you just don't want to go through all that hassle. You just want to load into the activity and I guess expect players to know how to do it, but at least inform people and tell them like, hey, this is out there. So that's just one example, but I'm sure you can think of many more. But let's get more in depth here on the image that I created really quickly just so we can get this over with. So here you can see the image I put together real quickly, and again, it's not like I slaved over this or anything like that. I literally did it in like 30 seconds, but you can see when you take out your ghost, you'll have your active modifiers, the join in progress, disabled, scorched earth, blast. But you notice in the bottom, there's an icon because I'm just following kind of like the formula that they have here. It doesn't have to be this exact quest icon because to some people this may confuse them and make them think there's an exotic or something there. But in reality, just make it like some type of skull icon or something. I don't really know, to be honest, but just put some type of icon, and then you can label it Pressure Trials because that's the name that they have for it in game. And then you can say the darkness awaits your invocation, and then just say invoke the darkness. You can see there. If someone doesn't know how to do that, then they'll just go to YouTube or they'll Google it and they'll go how to invoke the darkness Destiny 2 Pressure Trials, or the darkness awaits your invocation Pressure Trials Destiny 2. You know, that way it's not straight up being told to them. That way we're not giving them, hey, here's step 1, go all the way to 1,000 meters and then deploy the resonator and then look for the orb. Like, if you don't want to tell them, you don't have to tell them, but just have something there at least to steer them down a path instead of just not having anything and then expecting people just to read like one line of text to help. So that's going to do it for this video, so make sure to leave a like if you found this video helpful, and to help spread this video so more people know about this, comment if you have any questions, and subscribe so you never miss another YouTube video. And again, big shout out to Fallout Plays for his video, and make sure to check him out in case you haven't already. I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the description down below, and with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Dive accomplished. Sloan, settle a bet for me. Fought in Twilight Gap, did you not?
And helped build the wall with Shaxx and Saint before that. What's wrong? Memory getting fuzzy in your old age?
It's all one long fight to me.